So this is what spawn looks like in my Minecraft Forever world. It's flat, it's lame, and the only thing actually built here is our first house. But we've been calling this world Dreadmoore for a while now, and looking at this, it doesn't really live up to the name. Most people just treat their spawn point like a lobby, a place you run through just to get to where you're actually going. Since this is a long-term world, I want the lobby to feel like it actually belongs here. It needs more character. So today, we're finally moving past the safe phase and starting what I like to call the Iron Maw. And the core of this project, the thing that's going to change this landscape the most, is the forest. We aren't just bone middling a bunch of saplings today. We're actually building these trees by hand. I'm going with a palette that feels a lot older. Dark, heavy barks, and deep browns to give it that ancient look. The goal is to make this forest so thick that you basically forget that the sun exists once you walk in. We're trying to move away from that standard Minecraft look and finally turn this place into something that actually feels like Dreadmoore. Hey guys, Correos here. This project is a really big deal to me. It's actually the first video where I've sat down and made sure every single detail was right. I've put a lot of extra effort into the editing and the storytelling for this one, and I'm just really excited to finally show you guys what I can do. Before we carry on, I just wanted to take a second to show you guys like the fundamental structure I use to get the scale just right for these guys. I feel like building a tree of this scale, you kind of start to lose details, but it's a great opportunity to add more just based off the size. So like I mentioned before, we're doing some big iron oak, heavy like field trees. So as you guys can see, I've built a few, most of them are pretty tall. I do want a few more smaller filler trees, kind of like this size. I've built some so far, pretty happy with them. However, I did want to show you guys basically the bones to these guys before we go ahead and start building a bunch of them. So I basically started with a small base of acacia. The bark is just, I don't know, it really gives off a better feel than I feel like spruce could. And I used tough walls to just give it a just thinner peak, I guess. I'm no tree building professional, but I feel like these are going to be bringing a lot more life to my world. I feel like the hardest part for me right now is just the rest of the foliage, but I kind of just place it wherever I feel right. We can always break up some of this fluffiness with just some signs, some gates. Put some pressure plates on it as well, but we'll keep it for now. I'm also throwing a bit of birch in just to texture, give it some rarity. Seems a little too bare, I think. Okay, and once you're happy with your leaves, you'll be left with something kind of looking like this. So with the base, I feel like this is a little too thin. As you guys can see, I used a bit of a tough wall, some mossy cobblestone walls, and then some gray stained glass panes. So I used a little bit of moss to give it like the wet, old, like just high humidity type biome vibe to it. And then the rest is just tough walls, right? And then the glass kind of gives it still that thicker vibe of a base of a tree that you would want, minus, I don't know, it feels a little still like narrow and less boxy, opposed to just like 4 logs. I feel like you get a lot more personality out of this than you would with this. But yeah, okay, so these are basically what the trees are gonna look like throughout this forest. I just wanted to show you guys how I basically built them. So step 1 is basically just clearing the soul out of this place. Lots of dark oak trees around here and some other trees as well, but they all gotta go. So let's get started with the trees. Hannah and I spent an entire afternoon just ripping through these dark oaks that someone planted way back on day 1. I actually thought this was just a dark oak forest, but yeah, I was wrong. This definitely is not. And please just ignore the trees growing on top of other trees. I have no idea what we were thinking back then, but it's a total mess and it's gotta go. Finally, with us finishing up the deforestation, we can move on to the terraforming. And honestly, we got pretty lucky. Most of this land is just going to get covered up anyways, except for this one hill. So we're just tearing it down. Efficiency 5 on a Haste 2 beacon is basically a cheat code at this point. It makes it so much quicker, especially with help from my girlfriend. Okay, so if we want to build the rest of this forest here, we have a bit of a problem. This house, it's kind of in the way here. It's like the first house of the world. This is where me and my friends, we spent the first probably a month of this world before we branched off and started our mega bases thousands of blocks away. So I don't want to just remove it and have just a blank empty forest. I actually want to rebuild this later, but with a little bit of a twist on it. I want my friends to be able to go back to spawn and recognize the house that we once built together, but it won't be exactly the same. So if the Iron Maw is actually going to happen, this house has got to go. But like I said earlier, it won't be just blowing it up. We're going to tear it down by hand, collect all the resources, and then rebuild it. When I started just with the crafting tables and furnaces, it kind of hit me that, you know, these literally were the first items placed in this world. I'm also going to try my best to keep the items inside the chest to be as accurate as possible, as if it was never really, like, touched to begin with. I didn't even know this chest was here. Another thing I noticed when tearing this down is how much my building style has improved. Now, I don't even know who actually ended up building this house or if it was kind of all of us together, but I'm definitely confident I could pump something out a little bit better nowadays. But to stay true with the style of the build, I will not be drastically improving the detailing of this house. The structure will stay the same. This is the first time light's touched the floor of this house in about 4 years. Time to take out the porch. I hated this so much. Of course I didn't bring my silk touch pickaxe. Let me check if I actually have it. No, I don't. All right, just like that, it's kind of gone. But at least it'll be back. So hopefully it won't take me too long to collect all the materials to do this, because I know it's going to be real expensive. Before we get started gathering materials for the forest, a huge thank you for the 91 of you who've already been here. Being a new faceless YouTube channel in a world this big, it means a lot. I've actually never set a subscriber goal ever on this channel before, but I want to try to hit 250 subscribers by the time the next project drops. So if you're digging that Dreadmoore lore, hit that subscribe button. It helps me keep those lanterns lit. No, but seriously, thank you for the first 91. Now the house is gone, land's clear. Let's actually turn this dirt patch into the Iron Maw. So no more talk. Let's go get these materials. I need just over 5 shulker boxes of tuff. I'm grabbing the materials I have already. I don't think I need to mine any of it. I might need to mine a little bit of it. I had to gather all of this tuff because honestly, it's the only thing that gives these trees that ancient look. So we've got tough walls, the tough bricks, and then a massive amount of the regular tough blocks to tie it all together. It's a lot of crafting, but it's the only way to make these things feel heavy. And while I'm stuck here at this crafting table, Hannah's actually cast away in the desert right now. She's out there digging up enough sand to make the thousands of gray stained glass panes we're going to need to give these trees the right shape. It's a total team effort, but man, I do not envy her right now. Okay, so I got the tough walls done and the tough bricks. I need 1,317 tough blocks. I need to see if there's any more straggling tough around. If not, I'm gonna have to mine it myself. Hold your horses. Got enough tough. And that's the last of the tough. I'm feeling pretty good about our progress, but I've been ignoring the help messages in our chat for about an hour now. We should probably go check on Hannah in the desert, make sure she hasn't lost her mind digging up all that sand. Okay, I knew I asked for a lot of sand, but I didn't think you'd uncover a new biome in the process. Hannah, are you still here? I can't tell if that's you or just a very motivated husk at this point.
I've forgotten what the color green looks like. I've been staring at the yellow and the orange for hours. If I see one more wandering trader, I'll be the last thing he sees.
I mean, to be fair, look at the progress. You've cleared like a quarter of a desert. How many chests are we at for the glass?
I've lost count. but I've gone through 2 of my netherite shovels and my sanity is at about 10% durability. Please tell me we have enough.
Oh yeah, this is plenty. We have enough sand here to build a skyscraper, let alone our trees.
Good, because if you ask me for 1 more stack, I'll be moving into this desert village and you would never see me again.
Let's get you back to the forest before you start growing little cacti out your ears, alright? Unfortunately for us, the sand was just the beginning, because we needed to collect over 5,000 acacia logs by hand for this forest. We cleared not 1, not 2, but 3 entire forests. And the worst part? That wasn't even enough. We eventually had to start planting saplings, bone milling them, and harvesting them right there on the spot for hours. It was a total grind, but the Iron Maw doesn't build itself. Just over? Anyways, so we got all of the tuff actually. All of the gray stained glass panes. That's why I said it slowly. And then all the mossy cobblestone and cobblestone blocks and all of the acacia. So all we got left to grab is the rest of the spruce and birch leaves. And then we can actually start building this thing. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Nice.
If you thought the wood was bad, welcome to the leaf grind, or as I've been calling it, sheer madness. To get the sheer volume of leaves we needed for these pines, 101,000 to be exact, I went through more iron than I care to admit. I lost count of how many shears I actually broke. But let's just say my inventory was basically a graveyard of broken tools by the end of it. It's one of those tasks where you just want to turn off your brain, put on a podcast, and hope the durability bar lasts another 10 minutes. But hey, if you want custom forests that actually look alive, you gotta pay the leaf tax. Obviously, we needed way more than just wood and leaves, but we managed to grab the rest of the miscellaneous stuff while we were busy with the main grind, or just tucked it away off camera. But either way, this is it right here. This is everything we're gonna need to finally turn our spawn into the Iron Maw. No more gathering, no more crafting, it's time to actually build. So looking at the forest now that it's actually filled in, it's a massive improvement. But as you probably saw it in the time lapses, I think it's finally time for us to address the elephant in the room. With us leaving spawn so long ago, I kind of forgot how bad these craters actually were. They definitely take away from the ancient valley or like the iron oak, vibe, because you like great trees and like, oh, right. So this one's not too bad. But if you come onto this side of the forest, it's significantly worse. I can't even tell you exactly what happened. I know back when the server was owned by my friends, we used to mess around with commands a lot, but I don't remember this ever happening. And honestly, I got nothing to say on it. But this is something I want to fix in the future. I think we fought the Wither here based off all the dead trees. I think the only way to fix this in a effective and efficient manner would be to just put like a custom mountain over it. I don't know what to do about the water part. Like this part's pretty bad too. I'll figure it out. But I think a mountain over this in the future would also tie in well with this, and we have to figure something about that. The trees need to at least transition or something. But yeah, I'd like to put mountains over this and the other one on the other side. But this side doesn't even really need a mountain, to be honest. I could probably get away with this doing a little bit of terraforming. I just don't want it to be flat. I'd also like to remove this area, I think, to give it a more sharp, natural ocean front rather than this weird island with a ravine in it. But we'll figure it out eventually. But I'm really happy to have this forest finally done. So in the time lapse, you guys may have noticed that this area over here is left empty, and that's for a future project that I'd like to work on. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But if we run over here through the trees, if I don't hit my head, a little bit over here, and this clearing is much smaller, and actually this is where we're going to be building the day one house once again. So like I said earlier, I wanted to make it pretty similar to what it was before, but with a twist. So I just had to go collect a little bit of materials to then modify what the house is going to be like. So let's get started on getting those. Okay, so it's time to get the materials for this house, right? So what I'm standing on right now is actually just the items that were in the chests when we tore it down. I don't want to reveal what I'm doing to this house too much by telling you guys what I need, but I do need a little bit of leaves, spruce, some acacia, and then just some other building materials. But we'll get that all right now. Grab that, and this and that. I think that's it for there. I thought this moss farm produced hanging roots, but it doesn't, and I need more than I have. Okay, I'm gonna go grab a pair of shears, and we're gonna go grab some. Yeah, I thought that was a ghast. I think there is a pale oak garden this way. Okay, there's a dark oak. This is a good sign. Ah. Nope. There we go. I don't know exactly how much I need. Considering my farm doesn't produce it, I might as well grab a little bit while I'm here. Oh, we're going to be taking your heart there, buddy guy. Ow. You're done. Anyways, back to this. Oh, guess we're getting a second one. I'm looking right at you, bro. I thought those were rare. I think I've only seen, that's my third one naturally. Bro. Okay, they're a bit scary. People are getting notified that I'm here. That's lovely. Let's grab a few more. May as well get some of these too. I don't know if you can farm these at all. I don't think so. Oh, another one. Dang, okay. Ow. You're in this tree. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Sorry there, bud. I think... yeah, that's probably plenty. Let's head home. I flew far. Dang. Okay. I only need a bit. That's probably plenty. I don't need these at all. I just hoard stuff. I'll put those over here. Oh, and those. And I do not need that. Okay, so that's enough brown, but we're gonna need more of that. So we'll craft some right now. One thing I am doing is, instead of just using all, perfectly clear glass, I'm using some brown to make it look dirty. We need our crafting table and our 2 furnaces. And I thought I had some chests laying around, but I guess I don't. So we'll craft some of those. I think I had 12 in that house. I can't remember. And I need some birch leaves, which are these guys. Cobblestone. And we do actually need a little bit of gray stained glass panes. Oh, I do have mossy cobblestone. Sweet. That's probably good enough, and that's probably good enough. I need a little bit of moss carpet. So I'm just gonna fly over to the moss farm real quick and grab some carpets. Okay, and I think while we're here, I might as well grab some pale moss carpets. Even though I was just in the forest, I'm I could have grabbed some then, but whatever. Okay, I need 1 oak door, 12 of those, and a couple of those, some tough walls. I need a spruce fence gate. I need 2 spruce pressure plates, a spruce trap door, and I'll take all of those slabs. And spruce planks for fun. And then just a bit of spruce leaves, which that should be plenty. Okay, so believe it or not, actually, I think that's all we'll need to build this house. So the rest of the materials are just, you know, what I ripped out of the original house. So let's fly back over there and get to building. Okay, now that we're over here, I got the materials and I realized I forgot like all of the interior parts of that house. So I'm flying back. Okay, I got everything back on one piece. So I just added a little bit more grass here for a platform for the house because it was just gonna look a little weird. For the rebuild, I didn't want it to look brand new or like out of place. So I snuck in some spruce planks and some mossy cobblestone to give it a more wet vibe to it, as if it's been sitting in this forest for years. To really lean into that reclaimed vibe, I threw up a massive bush on the side and actually had an iron oak grow straight through the roof. I wanted it to look like the forest is literally trying to take the house back. It makes the whole build feel a lot less like a box and it's actually part of the landscape. For the inside, I kept that overgrown theme going. I used a bunch of hanging pale roots on the ceiling and some mossy carpets on the floor to keep it feeling earthy. Then I tied it all together by using soul torches rather than normal torches. I wanted that blue glowy vibe. So this is like kind of the atmosphere I was going for. I wanted it to look like abandoned and like kind of like hidden, like venturing through the woods and you just kind of see like, oh, there's something over here, right? But obviously I don't typically play with no shaders. So this was kind of designed intentionally to work well with my shaders. And with my shaders on, you're looking like, wow, like you can barely see a chicken. Pretty much it. Look at the house. It has a very dark atmosphere. Once we start moving on to some other projects around this forest, they'll be hit. Oh, we step onto the inside and it's very, I don't really know how to explain it. It's very atmospheric. I'm really happy with how this turned out. But we'll go ahead and sleep here. So this is what it looks like during the day with the shaders on, and I'm so happy with how this turned out. I want to add some smaller trees around it because I left a bigger area than I needed just so I could have enough room to put the house in there. And I feel like now it looked a little bare in between here and here. But I don't want these super, super tall trees. So I'm thinking maybe like some like 10 to 15 block high trees just around it would help isolate it a little more. Okay, so I feel like we spent a lot of time talking about kind of why I wanted to build this and definitely the process on how long it took me to gather materials and actually build this forest. But now that we're standing here, seeing how the light hits these trees and how it really sets the tone for this world, I'm gonna step back for a minute and just let you guys see how I see it. I guess it's time to start talking about the other future projects that I want. Okay, so we talked a little bit about how I want to put mountains to hide my past on this world, I guess. And some other things I would like to do is change the ground in here. Obviously, in a forest like this, it's not just gonna be grass. I want to just make it look a lot more textured and weathered and withered. But I also want to terraform like the shoreline. So I didn't put too many trees too close to water. I want to make this look like almost like a stony cliffside with some like corals, some mossy cobblestones, and some tuft. So look like the water's been like eroding into the stone, making it not just stone anymore. But this other large open area that I left here, I want to build a very intricate village, and kind of how I feel about the first house where I left too big of a spot. I want a bunch of different houses in this area, all having different actual functions that would just keep me coming back to this area. I feel if I don't have any real purpose, then I probably won't see this in a very long time. I also would like to try to hide an iron farm in here, maybe in like a blacksmith, just so it stays in the spawn chunks and it's continuously running. But yeah, so for the future of this area, at least, I want to have a really intricate village running through this area. And once we have more houses in, we'll put some more trees to really enclose the village. And then maybe I might even knock out a few trees to then start forming a path into the forest, through the forest. I'd want a path going this way out of the forest. And I'd want to extend the forest a little bit this way. And then way over there is like where 90% of the major builds are being built today. So I would slowly like to migrate this kind of building detail all the way over there. So then if we ever get new players joining the world, they spawn in this very atmospheric looking world. And then instead of having to like walk over to where the builds are, like they're greeted with this like default vanilla terrain with very jagged history. It'd be like all lore driven. It would just set the tone of the whole world. I'm so happy with how this turned out. So if you guys want to see me start developing a village, I don't know if all these houses immediately are gonna have interiors. I don't think that this world is ready for a world tour yet. I do have a lot of builds that you guys haven't seen, but they're either not finished or I'm just not really happy with them. So maybe you could do a video on continuing off of some of those builds or improving them to the point where I actually like them again. Either way, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. But with that being said, thanks for watching and keep those lanterns lit.